Seth, this is Aaron. We're so glad you're here with us this morning. We're going to sing a little bit. I'd love for you to stand and join us. This song is called Welcome the Healer. We're going to have a good time this morning. Come on, sing it out. We're singing, oh. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. Come on. King of heaven, here in your presence. Oh, how good you are. Yeah. Oh, you're falling down like heaven's rain, enthroned upon your children's praise. You're tearing down our barricades as we sing. We welcome the healer in this place. We welcome the author of our faith. We welcome the God who makes a way. His name is Jesus. His name is Jesus. Yeah. Declare, come on. Let your living waters fall on sons and daughters. We will not resist your heart. Sing, come and bring the breakthrough. Come on. Oh, come and bring the breakthrough. We surrender to you all. Our hope is in you, God. We sing it again. Oh, let your living waters fall on sons and daughters. We will not resist His name is Jesus. Lift up a shout for a good God this morning. Come on, yeah. Amen. Thank you guys for singing with us. You sound awesome. As you grab a seat, greet somebody around you. Let them know how your weekend was, and we'll keep on this thing rolling. Come on.
Well, good morning, everybody. For those of you I do not know, my name is Mike. It's an honor to welcome you here to NorthStar during one of our favorite seasons of the year. We love all the holidays. They're all special in so many ways, but there's something about Thanksgiving that I think makes all of us hit pause and go, God, you are so good to us. Psalm 107:1 says this: give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his love endures forever. How many of y'all agree today that the Lord is good? Isn't he, though? And you start and you write it down. Sometimes you hit those little moments in life where you're not grateful and you're not thankful, and you just forget. But when you are, man, it's a balancing thing. It seasons you and balances you into that person that God created you to be. Next Sunday is really one of my favorite Sundays here at NorthStar, because every week you get to hear from me or one of our team. Next Sunday we get to hear from you, and it's our annual Thanksgiving share service. So if you're in the True North crowd, you'll be down here from the chapel next week. We'll all gather together in one service at 9:30 each hour, 9:30 and 11. We'll gather together and tell the Lord what we have to be thankful for. So we'll open up microphones and we just get to hear from you. How many of y'all have been to one of those services before? How many of you, it's one of your favorite services of the year? If you didn't say that, I don't know what I'd say. But anyway, so I'm really thankful that it is, and it will be next week. I'm telling you, you'll walk out next week, and you'll go, man, God is so good, and his love endures forever. Well, today, we not only wanted to hear what God's doing in your lives, we're only as good at NorthStar as a group of people make us look. You may come to services on Sunday and you go, wow, that's all NorthStar does is just Sunday mornings. And it's about this much of what God is doing here today. And so over the next few minutes today, I want you to hear from some of our teams here at NorthStar and hear how God is using them and using you and using your giving to make a difference in so many lives. So would y'all welcome our growth team up here this morning and give them a hand? Fill us in, Mr. Wynn. Jump us in and tell us what's been going on.
Absolutely. Hey, Mike, thank you. My name is Mike Wynn, and I serve as a discipleship and small group pastor. And I get to work with these three individuals with me, and Amy as well, who's not on stage with us. But we absolutely, all four of us, love small groups, Mike. You know, our church is kind of big. And it's a great way to make a big church feel small, a small community. And what we like to do in small groups is connect people together like yourselves, and then have people live life together, because we all do a lot of things, and it's good just to share our lives with other people. But the most important part of small groups is growing in Jesus Christ, growing in our relationship with Christ. And we love doing that with small groups. Now, Mike, we have 1,000 people in small groups already with 70 leaders. And we just love pouring into our leaders. And we have a small group for anyone, whether you just got married and you're looking to get with a group, or you've been married for a long time. We have a group for you. We have a place for you. We also have specialty groups, Mike. One of the specialty groups we have is our art group. Maybe it's our finance group, our fitness group. We have so many groups, craft group. We want to get you plugged in so you can grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. And some people say, Mike, hey, you know, a specialty group, how can you get discipled in a specialty group? Well, I tell you this, our art group here at NorthStar had the most baptisms this last baptism bash. We are growing in our relationship with Christ, and we love doing that through small groups. So I'm going to let Kathy talk about some of the grief and care that she goes, the grief group and the care group that she works with here at the church. But again, we have a place for you so you can grow more in your relationship with Christ.
That's awesome.
And I'm Kathy Murphy, and I do pastoral care here. So I do counseling, hospital visits, sickness, grief, funerals. So I do all the fun stuff. But on a serious note, I get to see people come in who sometimes are at their lowest point in their life, and God brings them to a place of healing and hope, and it is incredible to see the change that happens in people's lives. So there are a lot of hurting people out there, and we just want you to know that we are here for you, and we love you, and you're not alone. And we've got counselors on staff. A couple of our pastors are counselors, and every week people come in with marital problems, family problems, and I see so much healing, so many people that are just the change that happens in every week is just unbelievable. About half of our staff are pastors, and we've sent people to the hospital to visit you when your loved ones are having surgery or you're having surgery, and we just walk alongside you and let you know that you're loved. We just kind of check on people and let you know that you're not alone in your journey. If you lose a loved one, we've got a grief share group, and you saw that video last week of people come in. When you first lose somebody, you're at a point where you just don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. And it's a 13-week session, and I'm telling you, at the end of that 13 weeks, to see the healing that takes place, and people get to a point where, like you saw in the video, they just want to help other people. And a lot of them lose loved ones to cancer, and they end up volunteering at our coffee run that we do at Kennestone Infusion Center. So many of those people are getting chemo for cancer. And to just be able to bring them a cup of coffee and just say, hey, can we treat you to a cup of coffee, when they're sitting there alone and scared, and you can tell their loved ones are just worried sick, sitting by their bedside, and just say, hey, we love you and we're here for you. And this whole ministry, everything I do on a daily basis and as a team is just let people know that you're not in it alone. Right. When you're going through a tough time, we love you and we're here for you. We care about you, and it's just a blessing to get to do that. So that's what I do.
Hey, my name is C.A. Phillips. I have the privilege of working with the men here at NorthStar and men's small group leaders. And I think the Lord has impressed upon me, probably more than any other year, this year, that we need to take, as men, our place, spiritually speaking, in our families seriously. And in God's word, it talks about how we are appointed as the spiritual head of the household. It's not something that we are just given a choice in the matter with. It is something that God has ordained for our families, whether it's just as a husband and wife or whether it's with kids. I can remember going back almost 20 years, getting into my first men's group that Mike Linch led, and how intimidating that was. And so I want to do all I can working with men's groups to tear down those barriers and make it easy for guys to get connected with each other, and also to wrestle with God's word and to find out what that means for their own lives. I also want to mention this year we have launched several spiritual leadership groups. So these are groups of about 6 or 8 guys that are going through a Henry Blackaby study on spiritual leadership. And really what it's doing is just inviting the Holy Spirit to lead you as you lead your family or lead out in the corporate world. And it's really done a phenomenal work. And I know the guys, there's about 40 of them that are going through it this year, and we're trying to grow that number next year. And then finally, I have a passion for for being a dad, but also helping equip dads. We launched All Pro Dad this year. Now, they're typically in schools, but we contacted All Pro Dad and said, what do you think about us as a church hosting this and being a chapter? And they were all for it. And so we have been privileged to have quarterly breakfasts. This year alone, we've had more than 90 different men that have come through it, along with 135 of their kids. And it's just cool to see what God's done in the life of All Pro Dad through NorthStar's involvement with it.
Well, good morning. I'm Bridget Turner, and I work with the women's groups here at NorthStar. And we have women's groups that meet all during the week, in the mornings and the evenings. And they come together, and as Mike shared earlier, they encourage each other in their faith. They walk through a Bible study together. They learn and they grow and they love on one another. But then they also go out and they serve in our community together, which just creates a tighter bond and connection, not only to each other, but to this church. And some of the things they've done this past year, one of the groups that's made up of a lot of young moms put together these birthday party bags, and they donated those to children and foster care so that every child could have a birthday party, which was such a fun thing for them to do. And then another thing we've done this year is a small group just recently donated money to a lady in Africa who is a widow, and they were able to purchase a bed for her so she no longer has to sleep on the floor. And they told me in the earlier service that they're working toward building a house for some of these widows in Africa. So lots of fun stuff like that happening. Also took a group over to the tiny house villages this summer when it was quite toasty. And we did some post-construction cleaning on the houses, just getting them ready for these women that are transitioning back into life, coming out of human trafficking. So that was a really just a cool thing to do, to be able to clean those houses, get them ready, and just pray over them as these women walk into them. And then lastly, we do an event called Across the Table here for the women, and we've had it twice this year, once in March, and again just recently at the end of October. And we focus on three themes, or three elements each time. It's a different theme every time we come together. But the elements are things like we want to have time across the table from each other, talking about the message, unpacking it, what's God teaching us that night. And then secondly, we work on another mission project. You guys are so generous, and gals, to give, and just I'm always blown away at how much you donate to these mission projects that we have. And then thirdly, and most importantly, we have a time of just personal response to what God's doing in your life that night. And in March this past year, we had 9 ladies raise their hands to accept Christ that night and just find their way home. So it was a great year for groups.
You know, age has nothing to do with maturity, right? I mean, our numerical age has nothing to do with where we are. And these guys do such an amazing job helping create a pathway for you not only to grow in your walk with the Lord, but also to receive care. Because sometimes we're in those seasons where we need people to come walk alongside of us or provide opportunities to go out and serve those that are in a cancer unit. Would you guys join me and let this amazing group of people know how thankful you are for them this morning? Watch this little video, would you? How many of you in the room today have a middle schooler through a college-age student? Raise your hand if that's you today. All right. Well, you are directly influenced by this team who takes that generation that gets a pretty bad rap, and they take it and they, take the gospel and they apply it to right where they live. So would y'all give a great round of applause to our student ministry team this morning? Casey, kick us off. Tell us what's going on, buddy.
Hey. I'm Casey, and I have the opportunity to be with our high school students every week as the high school pastor. And we all know that age, that 14 to 18, those high school years, community is a huge portion of their lives. They really find themselves through their friends, and their friends begin to make and break the direction that they go with their lives. And so we recognize that that's such a big portion of where they're at. And so because of your giving, it allows us to directly have an influence on the community they spend their time with. This past summer, as we do each summer in June, we took over 100 middle school and high school students up to beautiful Toccoa, Georgia, for a week called Impact, where they gather with students from all across the state of Georgia. And the really cool thing is, for kids that grow up in Ackworth, Kennesaw, this area, they are getting the opportunity to see students from South Georgia, East Georgia, from all over the state that are walking through the same things that they're going through. And it is just that encouragement for them to come back home and realize that they're not in this journey by themselves. They're not the only ones trying to live for Christ on their campus. And so for them to be able to form bonds and relationships there with other students and people here is awesome. And so we want to continue that when we come back home. And so one of the really neat things that we get to do is our high school small groups that meet on Sunday nights at 5:30 in host homes across town. And they're broken up by grade, and it has been awesome to watch these kids not only grow with each other, but also grow in their relationships with the Lord. We've got the world's greatest leaders that are pouring into them week in and week out. And so for us, man, we just want to continue pushing them towards that community, pushing them towards the Lord. This past calendar year, we had over 1,000 students check in at one of those high school small groups. And so it's just been really neat to see what God is doing through that community.
Hey, I'm Chris Bogus. I'm the middle school pastor here. I get to work with middle schoolers every week, and it's weird. There's no other way to say it. But we do a lot of fun things. We do a lot of different things. We have small groups. Small groups are very important in middle school as well as high school and college. I guess for everybody, we just said adults. So everybody needs a small group. All right. But what I want to talk about is our Wednesday night small groups that we do. They're called squads, and they're not just small groups. It's not just a place for kids to connect. We actually have students leading the group, so it allows middle school students to get an opportunity to try their hand at leadership, at kind of shepherding a group of kids. And for a lot of those kids, it's the first time they've ever had a chance to do that. Our brains change more in that 6th to 8th grade window than they do any other time in our life except the first few years of life. So they're learning who they are in a different way than they ever have before. And it's been great to watch these kids who maybe are new to church, maybe new to faith, move through and then become squad leaders and start leading a group. I didn't think about it, but we did our baptism celebration, and the girl who was the middle schooler who got baptized at that is actually one of our squad leaders, and she's just made this progression through this time. So squads are a big deal. And then we also do a thing called Closer in the fall. This is for high school and middle school. And the idea of it is to get kids to get closer to each other and to God. And in the past, we've done it at the end of October, which has been great, except then we do Closer, and then we have like a week or two, and then it's Thanksgiving, and then we have like a week or two, and then it's Christmas break. And so by January, all those relationships that they built have become a little frayed and distant. They didn't have enough time to really gel. So this year we moved Closer up to the beginning of October, and that has been just kind of a game changer for the relationships that were built, because they've had weeks and weeks and weeks now to solidify those and to kind of find who they want to be with and who their friends are, and it's been a great time. So we really, that combination of small groups and events is really what we do a lot of in middle school and high school, so that kids can see the bigger picture and then connect with other people. So.
Very cool. Well, my name is Sellers. I'm the college pastor here at NorthStar. And our college ministry, Wave, has had a crazy, busy, and fun year all together at the same time. And it's been really cool. We kicked off our year with 10 days of events in our Welcome Home Week. So we had bubble soccer, a rave, free Waffle House. It was a crazy packed week with really the whole mission of that week being getting our foot in the door so that new students to Kennesaw or Georgia Highlands have the opportunity to see what Wave is about. And it's been really cool to see the benefits from somebody's running somebody over with a hamster ball on them and it being allowed, I guess, and the friendships that have been built from that. Now from there, we have a normal Tuesday night meeting up in our chapel at True North at 8 o'clock. And it's been really cool to see how God has been faithful in those nights as well. We've had 80 plus students throughout the whole semester. And it's been really cool to see how God has been using that in a great way. See, last August I was hired here, and it was cool because there was like pockets of group. There was a friend group here. There was a small group here. There was a group of friends who were, grew up with each other. And there was groups of community, but there wasn't an overall sense of community. So this year, we've been really strategic in the way that we have grown our group together through different things like our community groups, our village nights, our events like Welcome Home Week, and even a new event that we started this year called Survivor Weekend. So it was a brand new event in October we had. It was crazy. It was based off of the TV show Survivor. If you guys have ever watched that, it's a great show. I recommend it to everybody. But we did events based on the events they do in these shows. So we had crazy games, and people were separated into tribes. This year we had a black and a gold tribe, and they were competing all weekend against each other with hopes of winning the weekend. Now through that, obviously the hidden agenda is within that tribe, they find closer friendships. They grow closer together with the competition pulling them to that. Now this year, it was a little cold and wet, and they didn't want to be out in the rain for some reason. I thought it'd be really cool. They didn't. For some reason, hypothermia is not encouraged, I guess. I don't know. But next year, we're doing it a month into school so that right when students step in, they can have an opportunity to plug in to the life here at NorthStar. And one thing I want to challenge you guys to do and really ask you to do this week is to pray for our group. So Tuesday night, we have a Thanksgiving dinner, and each week we challenge our students to live sent. What does it look like to live every day for the gospel? How do you leverage your coffee trips, your times that you eat, times that you go to class, different things like that for the gospel? So would you pray for our students this week to be bold in inviting people who don't know Jesus, but also on top of that, they don't just leave full from a Thanksgiving meal, but that they leave filled with the Spirit of Jesus Christ that night?
You know, we live in a world that students are walking away from the Lord in record numbers. And aren't you thankful we serve a church that kids are walking in record numbers? Would you join me today and let's thank these guys for the great job they're doing? Just a little note before the video plays. Sunday morning, Chris's middle school meets 9:30 and 11. HSM for high school meets every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock upstairs. And Wave is every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Check out this video, would you? Stage got a lot prettier during that transition, didn't it? You're going, there were so many beards up here last time. I don't understand. Well, one of the things that we knew from day one here at NorthStar was kids ministry is a non-negotiable. I mean, it's something you can't miss that birth through fifth grade time. And I can say this, I've seen the whole era of ministry here at NorthStar. These guys are amazing and do such a phenomenal job making church relevant and fun. And Courtney with our special needs. Would y'all give a great hand to these ladies this morning for the great job they do? Christy, tell us about it.
Hi, I'm Christy Webb. I'm Children's Director. And our mission here in our children's ministry is to reach the next generation. But beyond that, we want to help empower parents in having those faith conversations and guiding their child's spiritual journey. And we want to just empower you. We get questions all of the time about, hey, how do I know when my child's ready for baptism? How can I take this faith conversation to the next level with my child? And it really burst a passion in us to be able to help teach parents how to do that at home. And what we teach you on Sundays, take that home and really, really dive deep into the Word. So today we want to celebrate the fact that in 2019, we had over 30 kids, 5th grade and under, take their next steps in baptism. So it's really awesome. Yay. And that's due to the fact that parents are having those conversations at home. You guys are diving in deep into the Word with your children, and we appreciate that as ministers to your kids. We really, really see the growth in your children. And it also has to do with our Sunday volunteers upstairs. We have some of the most passionate, just amazing volunteers who want to see your kids know who Jesus is. And so for that, I just want to thank all children's ministry volunteers, actually all Next Gen volunteers, because they all do the same thing. We appreciate you so much, and what you do is totally just rocking the kingdom. So it's really cool. We also want to celebrate that this past summer, we got to partner with Fellowship of Christian Athletes to host their Power Camp, and we had over 150 kids out from the community attend. And out of those 150, 12 of those prayed to receive Christ that week. And again, we couldn't do that without our volunteers. And we couldn't do that without your faithful giving, because your giving allows us to do those type of events that reaches our community and reaches those kids. And really quick, I wanted to plug our event that's coming up. We host family experiences, which are designed to help you as parents engage with your child. They are for you and your child to experience Jesus together in a cool, fun worship environment. And we want to invite you to that. It's coming up on December 15th. It's a jubilation. It is one of our most popular family experiences. Last year we sold out, so make sure you get your ticket. So we're really, really excited about that, for you guys to come and just be a family together and learn about Jesus together.
Love it.
Hey, I'm Courtney Miller, the Special Needs Director here at NorthStar. And hello. So I am super excited to talk to you guys about some of the things that we get to do in the community that I really love getting to be a part of. The Horizon League, we partner with Ackworth Parks and Rec, Lauren Ham, and I get to coach a team of kids with special needs, and it is always one of my favorite things the fall and spring season to do. And so there are lots of other people here that attend NorthStar who have been doing this much longer than even I have, coaching these teams, and it's just such a great way for NorthStar to show its presence, not just in the community, but in this particular population of people who need to feel belonging and need to feel that outpouring of love from the people surrounding them. And so this is something super fun that we've gotten to do. And through that partnership, I've been able to partner with Lauren and put on this summer, the first time, we did mini pop-up camps throughout the summer. So a lot of these kids and students and adults with special needs don't have a lot of activity to do in the summer. And so we were able to come together with Lauren and just put on like different days of fun activities. So we went to Gymnastics Academy of Atlanta one of the times. We came here several times and just did crafts and sports, and had Kennesaw State Volleyball come out and teach volleyball skills to the kids. And it was just a really fun experience to be able to show these families how much we love them here at NorthStar and that we think they belong. And so that's really our heart behind being out in the community, is that people would know NorthStar as a place that all families from all walks of life, all kids, all students, all adults with special needs belong here and are loved by Christ and loved by us. And so that's really the heart behind that. And so out of that, we've been able to start in this past year an adult Bible study for adults with special needs on Sunday mornings. And it's just been really cool to get to dive into the Word with them and really see them understanding and grasping who God is and what He's done for them. And that's been really exciting. We've had for quite a while here at NorthStar has been a place where special needs, families with special needs can come and be here on Sunday mornings for children and students. We have inclusion with buddies, and we have alternative classroom settings for the different age groups. And then just to be able to now like offer respite nights where families can come and drop their kids off, whether they're kids with special needs and their typical kids and their families. They get to come and just take a break, go home and take a nap and just have the night off. And feel privileged and honored to be a part of getting to love on these families. And we're so thankful for those of you who volunteer in this ministry or volunteer your time for things like Night to Shine. It's just so awesome that we can show these families how much we love them here in this community.
Again, I have a mic. Did that last service. All right. I am Haley Russell. I'm the preschool director here at NorthStar, so I get the awesome privilege of loving on your little ones. So the goal of the preschool ministry from the beginning is to grasp parents who are expecting a child or even adopting a child. So that's just a new season of life where you need that community and you need those people who are walking through that same stages as you and just be able to lean on one another. So the goal of that is we've created a ministry called The Nest, and that ministry does just that. It connects you with other families who are in the same walks of life, and it gets you plugged into church and other people who are just members of this church and are, again, walking through the same phase of life. So what we want to do is to grab you from the beginning, introduce you to all of our nursery workers. They're amazing. They love on your little ones. They care for your little ones each and every Sunday morning so that you guys as parents are able to enjoy service without any distractions and no worries. So they start off in the nursery hallway, and then we, one of my favorite things that we get to do on Sunday mornings is baby dedications. And so we just had one this morning. Pictures don't do it justice. It's a powerful moment. And so baby dedications are just a way for those families to just make that commitment to their child and to themselves, really, to just pour that light of Jesus into their child's life. And then once parents do that, we're able to take that even farther on Sunday mornings. So they go through the nursery, and then once they are loved on and rocked and fed a couple goldfish, they love that, they get to move up to the twos room with Miss Nikki. Everybody loves Miss Nikki. And they start story, and they introduce worship in that room, so they get them acclimated before they come upstairs. And then in our preschool rooms upstairs, we transitioned from small groups to large group. And large group, we really focus on the importance of worship. They get to sing and dance, and it's the best. If you guys will see it December 8th here on stage. That's my favorite Sunday. So they just love worshiping Jesus, and it's music to my ears. It's the sweetest thing. And then they go back to their small groups and dive just a little bit into the Bible story and learn the basics, so that by the time that your preschoolers leave our preschool area, we want them to know the basic truths of the Bible so that they're ready for kindergarten.
And that is where they come to me. I am Cedar Spain. I am the elementary director here at NorthStar. I love our team and the mission that NorthStar has as far as reaching not just kids and not just parents, but families, and connecting those different points together to bring us all full circle, which I love how NorthStar has really created this community in between us. For elementary, we dig in a little deeper than obviously preschoolers do. So they go to large group just like preschool does, and they there are fed the message for the morning. We have a curriculum in which we have a one virtue for the entire month, and then we have 4 separate stories that show that virtue that we're trying to teach your children with. After that, they go back to their small groups to dig in a little deeper. They may have a fun game, a good discussion time. Our kids love to talk. And so can you imagine that? So when we get them intrigued and talking about something that happens in their life, it really makes Christ that much stronger, and their walk that much deeper in Christ. So we have what we call the Proverbs Challenge. We will be celebrating our 7th year anniversary this upcoming May. And it's just such a thrill and a privilege. I am overjoyed with the fact that these kids are coming in with their Bibles. They are knowing their memory verse. They can find a book of the Bible just by opening it and not having to ask. All of these little principles that we have, they actually earn points for. And then these little tasks that they do, those points turn into prizes. But the really cool thing that I really love about the challenge is that, yeah, they get a cool toy, right? Or maybe a gift card at the end of the year. But their true treasure, nobody can steal that treasure. You know, that $20, that $100, whatever, it's gonna be gone. Those toys are gonna end up breaking. If anybody of you have kids, you know what I'm talking about, right? Or shove it underneath the bed after playing with it for a month. The principles that are instilled in their hearts are truly, you know, the Bible says to write those on the tablets of your heart and to teach your children when they wake up, when they lie down, when you sit at the dinner table, when you get, every step that we take with our kids from the minute we wake up to the time that they are put to bed should be investing in such a manner that it honors and glorifies God. And so the challenge isn't just meant for them to earn points for prizes, and it's ultimately, yes, meant for them to grow closer to Christ, but it gives you as a parent an avenue, like a venue, into teaching your children at home and partnering with us. So our Proverbs Challenge weekly challenges go home, and if you do those, just spend 3 minutes a night, just tack it on to the end of their homework session or whatever that you have, whatever routine, work it in, because I promise it will make the biggest difference in the world. I cry when our 5th graders leave because I see them moving up from pre-K to kindergarten, and then I watch them go all the way up to 5th grade, and by the time they're about to go into Boggess's groove, I'm like bawling my eyes out like a little 5-year-old, really, because I've seen how much growth that they've had, and it just blesses my heart, and I hope that it blesses yours too. So that is, I believe, pretty much.
You know, being a parent is not easy, and there's not a really great guidebook on exactly what to do, and we need all the help we can get with people that come alongside us to take what God wants to do in your child's life and dig it a little deeper, grow it a little stronger, water what you put in, and dig up some new spots that God wants to nurture in your children's hearts. Aren't you thankful for this amazing group and the love they give your kids every week? Check this video out, would you? One of our core values here at NorthStar is it's not about us. And I think this group represents that really well. They're probably the group you may know the least, but outside the walls of this church, they are making a massive impact. The great business guru Simon Sinek says it this way: if you're not remarkable, you're invisible. One of the things that makes NorthStar remarkable is this team and the work they do to make NorthStar home for people that may never call NorthStar home. Would you give a great round of applause to our amazing community and missions team this morning? Mr. Salyers, take us away, baby.
Good morning, NorthStar. I'm Steve Salyers. I get the privilege of helping coordinate happenings here on this campus. Ministry happenings and a few hundred community events a year. It's a way that we get to leverage this campus to help reach our community, is to open the doors, be hospitable, show people that this is a friendly, welcoming place and that we care about them. I thought last hour I forgot to mention that, you know, should you pass by this campus and see a parking lot full of cars, which is really my goal, our goal, during the days, it's probably Cobb County Schools doing pretty much 5 days a week. They laugh and say this is their training campus. So educators are here every day. This is opened up to them for free to come in and continue preparing to love on our kids, right? So I thought it would be interesting to maybe share what a week looks like around here. So this next week we have 7 large events here on campus, and I made some notes. Tomorrow we'll start with Lunch with a Leader. It's Mike's leadership monthly luncheon, where leaders in the community get to come, share with one another, and grow in their faith as well. Tomorrow night we will celebrate student athletes and have North Cobb High School's girls fast pitch here. We'll have food, they'll celebrate, and what a privilege it is for me to be in the room and get to celebrate with a few hundred different groups a year, right? Tuesday morning, we will have Keller Williams West Cobb. They will come and do their holiday program here. It's, again, another catered event, which is really fun. Tuesday night, we'll have Hog helping one guy. I see a bunch of you in the room. Bob Kelly puts on this to honor a person in need in the community every month. And we will have their holiday concert. Wednesday morning, we'll have North Cobb Christian. We'll bus over a few hundred kids, and we'll have a conference. We'll do Wednesday night Harrison High School's fast pitch banquet. Okay, now comes the notes. Saturday, we'll end with a women's conference. This is organized by other churches in our community, and they simply don't have a venue large enough to host it. So that NorthStar, through your faithful generosity, gets to love on even other churches. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Danielle Lindeman, and I'm the Guest Services Director here. And at NorthStar, our mission is to help you find your way home. And there are more than 100 volunteers each Sunday morning that their goal is to do just that. And I often tell my team that we are going to make big impacts with small gestures. So that's why they are greeting you in the parking lot. They're assisting you across a crosswalk. They are greeting you at a door, ushering you into an auditorium, serving you coffee. And our hope and prayer is just that you feel at home.
And hey, I'm Mike Lindeman. I'm the community pastor here. And kind of back to what Steve was talking about, you guys come on Sundays, and hopefully a lot of you guys are here on during the week for maybe a sports banquet or some type of school event. But there's a lot happening. I think Steve has over 400 events that are going on in this building. This building is a church, but Monday through Saturday, it's operated really as a community building. And I don't want that to go overlooked, that it costs a lot of money to keep the air conditioning on. And these chairs are stacked and unstacked, and tables and crews and different guys. And this place is a zoo Monday through Saturday. Sitting outside in the lobby right now is about 800 red bags that are going to get shuttled back and forth this week because we have so many conflicts going on. And guys, that's a good thing. That's a great thing. And it's because of your generosity that we're able to open up the facilities and invite the community in. And so we appreciate that a lot. My responsibilities fall into our local community. And so relationships with the schools, relationships with serving them and serving the teachers and the administrators and the students are responsibilities of mine. One of our big ministries, our big ways of caring and loving for them is through grilling. And so we have about 30 or 40 grilling events a year between hamburgers and hot dogs and wrapping. A lot of you guys come out and help do that. And it's a great way to show our love and appreciation for them. This morning, like I mentioned earlier, we have the red bags for Thanksgiving. Every month we have a big give. And so last month we were Operation Christmas Child with the shoe boxes. And this month we are doing the red bags. And so keep an eye out for that, because every month we're doing something. Some of you guys have a lot of time to give, and some of you guys maybe have more resources. We need the time. We need you guys helping serving and moving and grilling, but we also need the resources, and our community feels it when you guys are so generous. One of the last things that I'm really proud of is our relationship with our city governments. And so the Ackworth and Kennesaw have incredible organizations that we partner with. December 6th, we're actually partnering with the city of Ackworth to host Santa's Arrival. So if you have maybe a kid and you want to bring them to see Santa arrive, that's something that we're partnering with the community on, that we'd love to see you guys there.
Well, I'm Marcia James, and I'm the global director, and I personally think I have the best job in the world because I get to go all over the world with fantastic teams that started as strangers but became family as they trained and got ready to go. And we go over and we get to help people who are so less fortunate than us. I can't tell you what it feels like when you hand food to someone who's starving and you get to give medical treatment. We also do national events, and this year we did a mission team going to Alabama. We partnered with Builders for Christ, and we built a church for a community. And this is a great family mission trip. If you have kids and you want to teach them about missions and giving back, this is a great opportunity. Also, we have international. One trip we went on was to Guatemala, and we go to the Home of Hope. And Home of Hope is an orphanage where children are, and they just need a lot of hope. They've usually been in very bad homes. So these are kids that have had probably the worst life you could have. And we just give them love and clothing and all kinds of things. So I would invite you to be a part of that group. Also, we went to Santo Domingo this year, and we did a medical trip, and usually we see about 1,000 patients in like 3 days, I think it is. And I invite all the people to help with that one. We need medical people, but we also need as many non-medical. And we just give to them what they don't have normally. This year we hope to go back to Haiti. Haiti is in a humanitarian crisis this year, so hopefully we'll get to go and give medical help to them again. Also, for those, we invite you to be a part actively, but if you can't and you want to do something for missions, we're starting a behind-the-scenes ministry in January. And this is for women, and it's just making things for women over in other countries, things that we take for granted that they don't have. And it's called Stitch and Nail, and it's going to be on the second Tuesday of every month, and it'll be in the theater. So hope that you can be a part of that. Be looking for that.
You know, I love what God does here on Sundays, and it's amazing. But I am so thankful for what God does Monday to Saturday through this amazing team every week. Would y'all give the Lord a hand and thank him for what he's done through these guys? Check out this video, would you?
Well, again, good morning. My name is Stephanie Ford, and I'm the creative director here. I'm going to ask our hospitality team to come on down. And in just a minute, we'll have the opportunity to give back. But I want to share with you just a few things that the creative team has been excited about this last year. As I listen to everybody share this morning, talk about things like rocking babies, grilling hot dogs, working with middle schoolers, whatever has been shared this morning, all goes to help people find their way home. And our creative team this year said, man, we really feel like we're missing some opportunities to join together corporately for worship and for communion and time to just pause and celebrate. And so we've been able to start worship nights here on campus. We actually had one last week, and we were able to celebrate baptism, which is really the ultimate symbol of someone who has found their way home. So thank you for giving, because every time you do, it allows us to do all these things that have been mentioned this morning. If you're here in the room or in the chapel at True North, you guys can go ahead and pass those baskets. If you're watching online, go ahead and click that give button. How many of you would say today, man, something was mentioned here today that I had no idea we did at NorthStar? Yeah, I love this team. I sit with them every week. It's amazing to me the things that are being done. For our creative team this year, one of the things that we were excited about is the creation of our app. How many of you, quick show of hands, how many of you have the app right now on your phone? Thank you so much. If you don't, you should get it right now. If you take a look on the screen, you'll see some of the analytics surrounding that app. We worked with Subsplash this year, and we're so excited that Subsplash said, you guys are doing such an awesome job with your app and have had so much engagement, so many downloads, that when churches come to us to say, how does the app work? What should we do? They actually did a feature on us, and they pushed that content out to other churches. It's a great place to sign up for events like Jubilation, to find the sermon notes, to share content. So if you don't have that, do be sure to go ahead and grab that. Another thing that our creative team does is we meet with Mike each week to plan out our service, to select the songs, to figure out what elements are going to happen. We plan videos like the one that you saw last week that concluded our Someday Soon series. We've got the drive home videos that we push out, the look forward videos, anything you see on social media, that's our team, any photography, any video. They're constantly trying to get out in the community and capture what's going on. Not only Sunday mornings, but our big event Sundays like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, building photo spots for you to help capture those events with your family. That's all our team, and they do a fantastic job. But all of these things that you've heard about today, we couldn't do without your giving, and we couldn't do without you coming alongside us and partnering with us. And we love our volunteers here so much that we recently were able to do a big volunteer event. It's called our Core Night. This year it was an 80s theme, and we had a lot of fun, got a little silly, dressed up. And man, we thank you so much for what you do. I want to just make sure everybody knows that in today's notes is the email address of everybody that was up here today. And so maybe as you listen today and you said, man, I had no idea they did that, or I would love to be involved in that, I would challenge you to email those ministry leaders and just say, how can I help? What can I do? I'm here. So thank you again for serving and giving. Take a look at this video.
Well, church, make some noise if you're glad that you were here with us this morning. Come on. We're going to sing a song called Great Things. I would love for you to stand and join us. God has done some great things here in this year, and he ain't about to stop anytime soon. Sing this out. Come on. Sing, come let us worship. Oh, come let us worship our King. Come let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. Oh, see what our Savior has done. See how his love overcomes. He has done great things. He has done great things. Sing it out. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquered the grave. You free every captive and you break every chain. Oh God, you have done We are so glad you were here this morning. We love you so much. Have a great week. You're dismissed.